Yeah, I actually had a question for Eli because I think he talked about post-purchase surveys. So couldn't we use the post-purchase survey to measure virality in terms of, how did you come to know about it from friends, relatives, or something like that? Is that something that we have already done, or maybe we could try that out?
Yeah,
Any
so
thoughts around?
I guess something that I've spoken to Ovadia about a lot is that the MTA solution doesn't show enough of the view through effect. And I think that's a part of the virality as well. It's like both. So what we did see here is, so triangulating the three different data sources we have, our MTA solution Northbeam has shown basically the lowest ROAS / highest CPA for TikTok. And then the post-purchase survey was kind of in the middle where it showed a higher ROAS and a bit of a lower CPA. And then our geo holdout test showed the highest ROAS and lowest CPA, which I think it just gets closer to valuing view through, if that makes sense. And I guess to go back to what I was saying at the beginning, it's like, that's why I value the geo holdout test the most, because it actually shows you the real data versus we know the MTA doesn't have all the view through effects in mind. We know that for a post-purchase survey, 60% of people aren't answering the question. And there's a lot of there's obviously data loss just because it's people just saying what they thought versus the geo holdout test shows us the real truth. Regarding virality, it's really hard to know if it's view through or virality, if that makes sense. But there is, so I would say the biggest difference between the three sources we have is really the valuing of the view through effects. And I guess not to sidebar on this, but Madan asked a question about Google Shopping earlier, right? And I think our and I definitely we're playing an incrementality test on Google Shopping because my hypothesis is we're looking at Northbeam, which is our MTA solution. My hypothesis is a lot of the conversions that are happening there, people are clicking for the first time on our Google Shopping campaign, but I think a lot of those conversions are coming from people who've seen a lot of our TikTok and Facebook ads and are looking to shop for jeans and end up clicking on our shopping campaign on Google. So the next question we have in mind is how incremental is this campaign really, even though it's the first touch point ever, but how many views did these people have? So that's something that I'm always thinking about. And that also, I guess, somewhat blends into the virality conversation. But I guess Madan probably has a way better answer for you regarding the virality stuff, because I've never really
No, so Eli was, I don't know if you caught it, Vishnu. He was saying in his post-purchase survey, he asked the question, did you come in through friends or family? Did your friends or family recommend? But he's not getting a lot of answers there. He's getting 5-8% of the people saying they were referred to the brand by a friend or a family member, right? So there's not a lot of that capture coming through. So that's why they're trying to ask the question, where is this coming through? Half the business is walking in the door. Where is it walking in the door from? And that's what this conversation is about. So
Madan, but I would argue that I wouldn't really fully trust the post-purchase survey there. It is a very low response rate. So I don't think from 5% to 40% is a lot, but yeah. I would say the problem, people who are referred by friends might have a lower likelihood to respond to the post-purchase survey versus someone who purchases from a paid ad. Who knows? I was talking on Monday about okay, Facebook and TikTok, I feel like the response rates are pretty similar. But for a referral, that's a whole different pool of people. It's paid media versus someone just talking about it. So that's also, and there's a really high likelihood that it's a mix of both. We have a lot of impressions on our ads, right? And people are everyone, a lot of my friends see our ads, but and I say, oh, I work at the Perfect Jean. I'm oh shit, I've seen the ads. Should I buy a pair? I'm yeah, buy a pair, and then they buy it. So that's somewhat of a referral. But they might see our survey and be oh shit, the first time I saw this was from a Facebook ad, right?
It's highly unscientific. So the post-purchase survey is super directional, but highly unscientific.
Yes.
We do, I think, randomize the order of the question. So it's not just everyone clicking the first one. I also think there's a lot of cohort bias in it, but it's very interesting and it is reliable once we go back once you triangulate it with the GeoLift and MMM and MTA, but it's like,
Yeah.
once you ask someone the question, you've changed, you're, you know, you can't give two answers for it. So if you could select multiple, it would probably give you a little bit of a slightly more interesting read. But it's also, you have to select one, and it's only people who are answering that. I have never once answered a post-purchase survey, ever. And I'm probably like someone who could answer correctly, you know, like I actually understand what they're trying to do with it. I just don't answer it. So who's answering this? It's people who are not necessarily always paying attention. You know, it's very valuable info, but there's for sure cohort bias in it. I don't know which way it is, but it is a very valuable piece. It's just something you have to be aware of. You're asking the question, and therefore you're influencing the result. It's like, you know, Heisenberg principle. You know?
I did something, it moves, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What a great conversation. Yeah.
But can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, it's just like something I'm thinking about now a lot. It's like, I'm just going back to this whole virality, like, where is it coming from? Is it people who viewed our ads 6 months ago, whatever? I really like, it has like, it's probably a mix of both, right? It's like people who've seen our ads, and then someone mentions the perfect gene to them, they're like, oh shit, I was thinking about maybe buying that, and then they go buy it. I really think it's a mix of both. And I don't know, Madan,
We can test it.
next time we're here, we'll maybe you can propose a test to us. That would be a good idea.
So for the class out, I just want you to, this is a beautiful conversation. This is how healthy conversations happen when tests go the way they're supposed to go, and you have brands who want to like figure it out. This is how it's supposed to. The big takeaway for you guys is that when you're consultants out there market helping brands like the Perfect Gene, this is what you're expecting to see. It's not like we know the answer. We're testing into the unknown, right? We're kind of blinded. We're trying to feel around as to what the answer is. This is how it feels. So a lot of us, when you go in, there's an expectation of a perfect answer. The expectation of like coming out with the truth. Man, the truth is not easy to find. It's kind of like you can get a version of it. And that's what you have to like work with. What are you trying to do with it? What is the decisions you're trying to make with it? So how Ovadia and Eli are thinking about decisions, that is a big takeaway. And helping your clients guide them to decisions is probably the big takeaway here that hopefully you take away from the conversation. Guys, thank you so much. Phenomenal conversation as always. I'm pretty blessed to have you guys in the cohort. I'll circle back.
You.
We'll finish the conversation again on the results, and hopefully we'll value out of it as well.
Thanks, Madan. Yeah, Madan, thanks for having me.